The biggest question that I get as a social media manager is, how do I find clients? A lot of beginners I see get trapped in the aesthetics of their business. Is my logo pretty? Is my Instagram feed pretty? Is it aesthetic? Is it good enough? Those things, they could be important to some people, but in the grand scheme of things, your aesthetic feed doesn't sell. And as much as you go on your page and you look at it and you go, wow, that looks amazing, that's not what makes sales. One of the real challenges of being a beginner freelancer or business owner is, how do you acquire these clients that would want to work with you for your services? And I've got good news for you, because a lot of the methods that I'm going to be teaching you is not really unique to social media managers, but a lot of digital business owners, graphic designers, copywriters, video editors, consultants, marketers, people who work in IT even. If you can do your business online, bookkeepers too, then these tips would definitely work for you. Before you start anything, the first step you need to take is building your portfolio. I know you're rushed and really excited to look for clients, but if you can't show them what you and your skills can provide them, then there's no point in looking. Essentially, at the end of the day, your portfolio will show the client what value you bring to them. What do they want to see in your portfolio? Depending on the company you're applying for, your style could be very important. Your thinking, your ability to create content. What do your video skills look like? And what do your graphic skills look like as well? I've hired probably over 10 VAs in the past now, and this is very important. If I'm looking for a graphic designer, but you don't have any work to show me, then how do I know that you're a good fit? And you're telling me I can create short form videos, but you don't have anything on your profile, then do I really want to work with you? Your portfolio is a gallery of all of your hard skills. But something important to note here is that your portfolio doesn't need to have real clients. You can create self-initiated projects. Rosie, what does that mean? I can create self-initiated projects and not post real-life client examples on my portfolio. You've just started your business journey. You're a new freelancer. How are you going to get the experience? You need to make it yourself. Let's say you want to be a social media manager. Create a mock-up social media strategy and show that to the client. Create your fake client. Show them this is what it could potentially look like if we work together. This is an example strategy that I've come up with will look like. And also do fake mock-up feeds as well. Show before and afters. I know I said earlier that feeds don't sell, but some people really care about those. If you're one of those people, show designs of before and after working together. And depending on the services that you want to offer as well, let's say you want to offer video editing as one of your services, which I highly recommend. Show all of the skills that you have with CapCut. Show that you can use overlays. Show that you can do text behind the person. Show them when it's a great time to add sound effects. Show them different clips and transitions, all the skills that you can do, because if they're hiring for that certain skill and you can show them, hey, I have the skills, this is what it looks like working together, then you're well ahead of other candidates applying for that position or partnership with a certain client. This brings me back to when I first started UGC around 3-4 years ago. I was just using random products around my house and creating content from that. I had a shampoo, conditioner, and I thought, this is a branded one. Let's do something on that. And I think I made content based on cereal I had at home as well, and a few soft drinks. The possibilities are endless, and I know a lot of people go, oh, that's so strange, but in marketing, it's such a creative role where it's like, think outside of the box, and it's not as hard as you think it is. You have the resources with you at home right now. This is an important mindset shift that I want you to have. Do not wait until you are quote unquote ready, because you'll never be ready. The perfect time to start your business or start any project was yesterday. They always say that. Start before you're ready. And do you know why? Because you'll never be perfect. You'll make mistakes all along the way. I've made 50 million mistakes, and that's not even an exaggeration. I make mistakes today as well. If you wait till you're ready, you're never going to start. And the truth is, yes, you're going to make a mock-up and fake portfolio with fake clients that you've created, but the real experience comes with working with real clients. And I know it hurts to say that, and it sounds harsh and terrible. That's the reality. And you need to show potential clients what you're capable of. Building a basic portfolio and putting yourself out there is way more important than just thinking everything needs to be perfect, because nothing is perfect in this world. Now that we have all that portfolio talk out of the way, let's talk about the first method of finding clients for your social media management business: leveraging your existing network. For beginner freelancers, what I've noticed is that the best way to find your first client is through your friends, family, or even mutual friends. Just starting the conversation, and when you're meeting up with someone that you haven't seen in a while, saying, saying, hey, this is what I do, or posting on your personal social media page saying, this is what I'm currently working on, DM me for more information, is way more powerful than a lot of people think. Even just having a notepad right in front of you and jotting down the names of friends, family, previous co-workers, all of that have run a business or they are currently running a business, and saying, okay, maybe I should reach out to them, tell them I'm offering social media management services right now. You would actually be very surprised with the type of conversations that you come up with, because I think I landed around 2 to 3 clients this way. I didn't pitch to any of these people. I just had casual conversations and I told people, hey, this is what I do. Just from that, business talk came. Honestly, you'll be surprised with how many opportunities could come up with just casual conversation. Now it's time to talk about method number 2. Cold outreach. Cold outreach or outbound marketing is when you reach out to the brand directly. They don't know who you are. They haven't reached out to you first. You're reaching out to them. How can this be done? You could send them a message on LinkedIn. You can send them an email or a DM on Instagram. Or you can be super adventurous and rock up to their coffee shop and ask them for a little coffee date. My tip for you when cold outreaching is have an audit of their social medias. See, are they posting regularly? What is their action like on socials? Is their content outdated? Are they posting frequently? And what does their engagement look like? Is it great? Is it poor? Do they need your help? Instead of trying to sell to these potential clients, try to offer something free of value that would actually get them thinking, hey, this person could be really helpful for my business. But also when you're looking at these businesses and auditing their Instagram or social media profile, keep in mind, are they able to actually afford my services? Once that's out of the way and you go, yes, they could probably potentially afford my services, then you reach out, try to offer something of value. What does that mean? Instead of messaging them saying, I do this, I do that, sell, then, work with me, I do this, provide them with a PDF of an audit. Say, these are the pros, what you're doing really well on social and where you can improve on, and this is how I can help with that. Yes, you're selling, but you're also providing them with value. Free audit is something that my mentor actually taught me. Shout out to her for that. I don't like this method, and I know it works for a lot of people. A few friends in marketing as well, or that run digital businesses that swear by this and love it, but with me, I guess I have had some luck in the past, but it's not really my bread and butter when it comes to finding clients. The next method that I want to talk about today is content marketing. Content marketing is actually one of the most powerful tools that you can use to attract your potential or your target audience. This means creating content that showcases your expertise in the field. Depending on where your business lives, this could be a YouTube video, LinkedIn post, Instagram carousel, reel, whatever it is. Make sure that your content is enticing enough and can actually attract the client. Let's say you're a social media manager and you want to work with people that are in the beauty niche. Making content such as how to grow your business as a nail salon or how to get more followers as a nail salon business. Making sure that your content is more niche because you're wanting to speak to that audience is very crucial. If you're making social media management content, but you're very broad, you're talking to everyone, which means you talk to no one. And let's say you are working with health specialists. Making content that is valuable to them is very important. Let's say you make a video on how I would grow your TikTok page if I was a social media manager for a health coach, and then teach them what you would do. And let's say your client does orthodontics, so they do braces and teeth alignment. Showing them before and after kind of feeds is very important. I know I said feeds don't sell, but you know what does? Results. If you're a social media manager and you can showcase to the orthodontist that this is where you currently are and this is where I can help you get to, that's the winner. Showing them, okay, your potential client works with you. These are the results that they're going to achieve. That's going to make you stand out even more. Because at the end of the day, the client doesn't want to work with you because you have the skills. They're wanting to work with you because they want to see what can you provide me as a business owner. Because at the end of the day, I want my business to grow. Yes, you can edit cute little videos, but do they speak to my target audience? Think about that one. And over time, content marketing can lead to inbounds. Method number 4 is freelance platforms. When I first started Estelia, this was my bread and butter for finding clients, and honestly, one of my favorite ways to find clients. I used Upwork and Fiverr. I know there are a lot more, but Upwork and Fiverr definitely hands down my favorite platforms. Upwork and Fiverr are basically platforms where it's kind of like a directory. You log in, you make a profile, and you list all your expertise, services, and it's a directory where clients and freelancers can look for each other because freelancers are looking for work, the clients are looking for talent. The platform is the middle ground. However, the problem with these platforms is that the competition can be really high because you're pretty much competing against other creators or other freelancers there that have so many more reviews, so many testimonials, they have a lot more experience compared to you. Say you're applying for a job, you have 0 stars, no history, and why would the client want to work with you compared to someone else? I know it sounds discouraging, it takes a lot of time, it's hard, but that's life. We have to go through this, and it's a hard grind at the start and it's painful, but I promise it gets better. I've got low baller clients on there as well, but that's everywhere. That's like marketplace as well. You find good ones and the bad ones. You've just got to be careful of that. I have worked with a client that was paying peanuts. I guess at the end of the day, it's up to you to say no to them. I didn't do that, and that's my fault. That doesn't mean you should follow me as well. But these platforms, amazing. I can't fault them at all. They handle your payments, they handle communications, contracting, everything. And once you get into the rhythm of it, do great work, profile gets boosted and your profile is way more visible to more clients. At one point, I think I was juggling 7 to 9 clients at one time because Upwork was just pushing me out to so many people where I just had to step off the app because I was like, I am so inundated with work right now. I'm tired. The next way of finding clients is building a personal brand. Rosie, what is a personal brand? Your personal brand on social media is pretty much how you want to showcase yourself, your authority in the space. Let's say you want to build your personal brand in marketing, personal finance, you're the finance wizard, everyone wants to come up to you, or you're someone's big sister on the internet. That is your personal branding. And especially as a social media marketer, what you're wanting to do is showcase that you are an expert in the field. You want to start sharing results, sharing what you do in the day of your life, behind the scenes of your work, sharing tips. And once a new update comes out, you're the first one to talk about it. Sharing your personal brand isn't just work as well. Tie that in with your personal life as well. So what is your story? Why did you start? Who are you? When people consistently see your skill online and that you're always talking about marketing, they know that you're that guru. For example, when you say the name Gary Vaynerchuk, everyone knows that he's a social media strategist. Another person that you can think of is Neil Patel, SEO guy. That's the power of building a personal brand. When someone says their name, you immediately associate them with what they're known for. Let's say Davey Fagati. Immediately you're thinking the Udi. Building a personal brand is important and it helps you find clients because it helps build authority and trust. The next method that I want to talk about is partnerships and collaborations. This is kind of some people's cheat code into finding clients because when you work with other people within your industry but not your niche, say you're a SMM but you're working with graphic designers, you're working with web developers, copywriters, photographers, or even content creators, you can kind of tap into each other's existing clientele network. A lot of these professionals, their clients need social media support and vice versa. Let's say you're working with a photographer and they're working with the brand new e-com business selling baby products. They need your services as a social media manager, but they also need the photographer's services. And then let's say you find a client in the skincare niche. You're a social media manager, but you're not really great at building websites. If you collaborate with a website designer, you both tap into each other's network of clientele and it's a double win. Essentially, once your business is established enough, referral marketing is probably the best way to find clientele. Another method of finding clients today would be reaching out to your local businesses. Have you noticed that you wanted to go to your local cafe or local restaurant and you look at their Instagram and you're thinking the food doesn't look that great, it's not appealing? Those businesses need your help. This could include cafes, restaurants, salons, boutiques, and gyms. A lot of these local businesses need your help growing their business. They just don't know where to start and how to find you. They probably don't even know they need social media help. They just know that they need help marketing their business, but how? This is where you bridge the gap, and when you approach them, don't do sales first, provide value first, offer them industry insights, strategy tips, growth suggestions, and content ideas. They can see that you can offer so much for free, and once they're paying you, they know that you can provide so much more. The next thing I want to talk to you about is case studies and results. After you've been working with clients for a while now, make sure you document everything. Document all the stats because that's going to be very important when it comes to pitching to bigger clients in the future. Saving your before and afters, growth numbers, campaign outcomes, and content performance. And having that on your social media or your website is going to be like gold. Case studies are really important because they can show real impact. Because businesses, they're not like back then. You can't sweet talk everyone. They want to see that you can actually deliver results. This is my important reminder for this segment. Finding clients is not a one-time activity, especially as a beginner. It's something that you do consistently, and especially if you're at the start of your business journey, it's probably going to take about, I would say, 60% of your time. Client acquisition is not about sell, sell, sell. I hate that. Don't even think about that. It's about building relationships and demonstrating value. At the end of the day, you're not just there to sell, do a terrible job and leave. You're there to provide value. If you're wanting to find clients as a social media manager in 2026, these are the 3 main things I want you to focus on. Building your portfolio, putting yourself in front of potential clients, and consistently demonstrating your expertise. And over time, as your experience grows, finding clients becomes so much easier. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.